right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we have officially made it to the Proud Family review. We're going to do this like we did Velma in episodic format. I am not looking forward to this in the slightest. I watched the first and second episode already. I will have reviews coming out about them separately, but my God, is it just terrible. I don't really know even where to begin, but I will, of course, break it down as you guys are used to. The only thing I'm going to ask you is two things. Don't forget to like the video and consider giving me a long view duration on this video because we are trying to fight the YouTube algorithm that has currently put me in a little bit of a suppression. It goes up and down. It happens like that. We'll come out of it again. But if you give me a long view duration, it will definitely help us to continue forward. With that being said, let us get into episode 1 review for the Proud Family. So the episode starts off pretty simplistic, okay? Like it starts off with some sort of like spirit energy coming from the moon, it looks like, and basically hitting all the characters that existed prior in the previous Proud Family. When they come to and they wake up, they realize that they're actually older, they're bigger, and this is just a way to kind of like not reboot the series, but kind of like make it into a sequel sort of a thing, because obviously it was keeping track of Penny's height. If you look at this door over here, you'll see her height tracked little by little. This was her last known height at 4 feet tall, and when she goes into the bathroom, she realizes that, wow, she's not the same girl that she used to be. It's actually kind of cringy what they make her do, because remember, this is not even high school girls we're talking about. This is probably junior high school girls, so check out what happens when she goes into the bathroom.
Wait, what?
So before she goes into the bathroom and discovers that she's completely changed, she realizes that A, she looks different, and B, she checked her height, grew quite a bit. And they're trying to pass this off as she went to bed and just woke up like this because they're trying to explain the time gap between the original Proud Family, where Penny was much smaller, and now with the current Proud Family, louder and prouder. But let's see what I mean by cringy when she goes into the bathroom. Look at this.
Bam!
So she's super excited simply because she now has boobs and she's able to twerk. They have a middle schooler twerking on screen. I mean, again, what I will say is this TV show is very specifically made for younger audiences. You can try to give me the excuse that Velma was made for an adult comedy, but this TV show is not that case. This TV show plays like every other kid show you would possibly imagine, and yet it still throws in a lot of adult themes in there, even though it's very blatantly a kid show. So we fast forward and we see Penny meeting the rest of the family, and she starts to obviously realize that the family is much more grown compared to what they were before. You see all the return of the kids with the crazy fucking hair, and she meets her mother, who also has changed slightly. So after the extremely long intro plays out with music that I can't play, obviously because of copyright reasons, but it's very, very typical music that you would expect from a show like this, we do see Father watching a video on TV of the mayor, Wizard Kelly, and look what he has to say.
You better not vote for him, Mr. Chips. And stop wobbling, Mr. Chips, and get that grinder.
Now, I do find it funny that there's a lot of typical tropes in this TV show that kind of go to one particular community, if you know what I'm trying to say. They all seem to be extremely loud, extremely brash. There's nobody that's really super calm except for the mother, it seems like. Everybody just seems to be a very loud, brash kind of character. And you know what? Maybe that's what this TV show is supposed to be about. Maybe that's how it fits into the whole idea behind the TV show, but who knows? So you see the father trying to create some sort of candy that he's been working on, and as he does so, this happens.
Trudy! 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 Where's my slingshot?
Oscar, did you look under the sink?
Of course I look, woman. You always moving stuff.
Again, you see what I'm saying about every character basically needing to be brash and loud and whatnot. So we fast forward and we see the mother is actually Trudy, who is making a pet ambulance kind of van, and she hires this guy to do some spray painting on the van, and he's a pretty typical character trope that yeah, I'm not really gonna go too deep into, but you guys can pretty much guess what I'm going to say. So let's play the interaction between Trudy and this guy.
If you did a nacho truck, I love nachos and jam.
So he finished putting the van together, and Trudy tests it out and realizes that it's actually able to expand, which makes it very useful for a pet ambulance. And then we fast forward and we see the father is still trying to make this candy that he's been working on, which accidentally goes into the mouths of the children, only for him to realize that it works exactly like he planned for it to work. Check it out.
CC, no! It worked.
So the candy is meant to essentially stick to your teeth and not stick to your insides. That's kind of the whole joke behind it. The kid ends up taking a massive doo-doo because that's, you know, funny, I guess. And then we fast forward and now we have a girl boss moment. So again, the first episode, what I will tell you guys who are watching, those of you who stick around and watch for the long haul, what I will tell you is that this episode does not have a ton of wokeness in it, but it does start sowing the seeds for you to get smacked by it in the second episode and every episode afterwards. They're doing the typical thing where they start off very soft so that they can try to sneak in to as many households as possible so people don't immediately write them off as a super woke show, but I guarantee you it's only going to get worse from here. So we have a girl boss moment where Trudy basically tells the dad that he's worthless, he does nothing, she makes all the money, and that he needs to start picking up the slack around the house because he does nothing, essentially. He's literally useless. Check this out.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm saying the one who makes spare change should change BB and Cece. And anything else I tell them to do.
Okay, fine.
So she's basically saying since he does not, and here's the ironic thing, since he does not make money, supposedly, he needs to be the one that's taking care of the kids, he needs to be the one that's cooking and cleaning and all that stuff, and he needs to be the one to do whatever else Trudy tells him to do. If this role was reversed and it was a man telling a woman this, you would have every single feminist within 100 fucking miles coming after you and trying to call you a misogynist. But because it's a woman telling a man this, of course everything is perfectly fine and it's okay. Then at this moment he notices that his daughter's coming down and he just realized that his daughter has actually changed and grown because apparently nobody is able to see this beforehand. The way they explain the time skip just really isn't that great. They're trying to make it seem like everybody's just completely oblivious to what's going on. But check out the way they introduce them. It's almost weird, as if the father's kind of like not lusting after the daughter, but just looking at her very strange. Check this out.
Emily.
Cooking a goose fat.
That's just what I do, and that's just how we do it.
Like I said, very, very strange. Obviously, he's realizing his daughter has a lot more curves and whatnot than she did before. And then he starts wondering what the hell she's wearing. And obviously, she is wearing her mother's shoes, of which he yells at her for it. But then he's trying to basically choose what she's able to wear. Check this out.
Our little girl is becoming a young lady, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Au contraire, mon chéri.
Again, it seems like the mother loves telling the father that he can't do a damn thing. And I don't know if that's because it's written by female writers or if that's just how they want to portray this character. Who really knows what they're trying to do with this show? But as we fast forward, he puts her in a suit of armor because obviously she cannot be seen in anything remotely revealing. And then you got Sugar Mama who shows up out of nowhere with her typical boyfriend that's been around forever, the Spanish speaker that is just completely trashing her, but she has no idea because he speaks Spanish and she's just obsessed with the way that he speaks. Then we fast forward and now we get introduced into the gang, and this is when we start getting a little bit of identity politics. As we experience this, you start to notice that, number one, this right here, you can't really see because of my animation on screen, but this is not a girl. This is a boy who dresses like a girl. We have that here. You have the super loud Dejanay, who, of course, I mean, the tropes in this show are just spot on. It's pretty hilarious, actually, and not in the way that benefits the show. Check this out.
Yeah, the back-to-school kickback, of which yours truly is the committee chairman, is this weekend. And you can't get in looking all crusty and musty. Hey, girl.
So it's amazing how they make Dejanay such a ratchet, and I mean super ratchet character, and they even mentioned this in the actual TV show about her ratchetness, but that they're perfectly fine with it. This is how they want little kids growing up in that particular community, embracing stuff like this and not actually going after anything that's going to remotely benefit them. But then you also, again, you have Michael. This is the character named Michael, who is female representing, it looks like. I mean, the guy obviously is very gay. They even mentioned it later on in the episode. I don't know if it was this one or the next one. And then they have the one white friend that shows up out of nowhere who obviously is not allowed to have any sort of body because they're just, it's a white girl, you know. According to them, white girls have no bodies, and that's just what they got to deal with.
Yep, I'm pretty sure this is it for me. I shouldn't have gone to bed with my face mask on. Hey,
then we introduce ourselves to the last member of the group, La Cienga, who, when she reveals her face, it is obviously pretty terrible. She's hit with puberty pretty hard, and they make fun of typical tropes. Check this out.
Zang, you got those Ashanti sideburns.
And Freddie Mercury's mustache.
So, of course, she looks terrible because puberty was not very nice to her. Then we fast forward, the group gets together and they decide to go to Dejanay's boyfriend or friend's house or whatever the case may be, walking up a crazy hill for some odd reason. All these houses are on a ridiculous hill. They must be in San Francisco, where they are met by the sisters, who always used to take their money. But now the sisters are not actually trying to take their money. They're in a different game. Check this out.
Daddy. Uh-oh. Wow, the Gross sisters changed too. They look meaner.
And ashier.
Again, I find the display, the way they actually showcase these characters of different races, I find it so unbelievably stereotypical. And I guess that's just the way this show is trying to be, right? They're trying to adhere to people who live within stereotypical means and don't actually try to step out of the box in terms of, their own communities. But again, the sisters here are much, much bigger now. Of course, they grew as well. They've changed a bit. And they are no longer trying to take people's money. Now, they're actually rap artists. Yes, the three sisters are rap artists. Check this out. It's pretty terrible.
Relax, Proud. We done jacking. We in the rap game now. And we got our own record label.
Of course they're in the rap game, and of course they have their own record label, because again, these are all typical tropes you would expect from a show like this.
Hands up, Cash Out Records. Gina do the beats. Olay got them fire hooks, and I spit the rhymes. Hands up, yep, give me all your cash.
Literally, the song is called Hands Up, Cash Out. I really don't even know what to say at that point. I mean, you're talking about encouraging teens to essentially not only be bullies, but just to steal. I mean, they've done this multiple times in the first two episodes again, and they're gonna continue to do so because it's just what these sisters do, right? I mean, again, I know it's a kid's show, it's meant to be funny, but it's just really not funny. It's just typical stereotypes that are thrown into this TV show, and most people are going to be too young to even notice, so they're going to try to grow up mimicking stuff like this, and that's what they're hoping for, really. So Dejanay tells the sisters that they might want to reconsider their rap game because they're actually pretty terrible. Check this out.
Y'all might want to reconsider that bully thing. Dejanay, shut up! Thanks for the private concert.
Again, these girls are obviously very scared of them, and a funny thing is, so they don't actually want to go to this party as an artist. They actually have an artist that is under their record label. Young Toddler is his name. Yes, Young Toddler. It gets even worse, trust me. And they want this person to be an artist at the party that's coming up. So when they show them a video of Young Toddler, of course, it's a white dude who is a rap artist who goes by the name of Young Toddler, who literally dresses up as a baby. They took the opportunity to make the only white person in this show so far within the first episode and threw him into a literal toddler outfit. This is the rap artist they want to promote. This is what they feel like. I'm telling you, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. So they say they need to get them into the actual gig, and to make it happen, check this out.
Or us? I'm talking about our new artist, Young Toddler.
He's, cute?
Good. He booked him, but I'm gonna need his money up front, in cash.
So, obviously, they ask for money up front, and then we fast forward, and she ends up going to what she thought was her boyfriend's house, but she realizes it's someone else who's here. But at first, she thinks it is her boyfriend, who has all grown up, because remember, these kids haven't seen each other for quite a long time, and they realize it's not, and then he ends up telling her that her boyfriend has actually left with his family and chose to go with his family. Check this out.
Well, hold up. I'm sorry, Icky, but I'm not sticky.
What? Well, where's my man?
He and his family moved, you noob.
They did? When?
Just straight up left her without even saying anything, of course, as expected. And then as he drives away, you realize that he left a letter for Dejanay. Oh, actually, not even for Dejanay. Actually, he left a letter for Penny talking about Dejanay. Check this out.
Penny, I'm really gonna miss you guys. Oh, my dad got a job in Japan. He said I didn't have to go. I could stay with my cousins if I wanted, but I've just had enough of that crazy Deja. Oh, okay. We've got the idea.
So obviously he cannot stand Dejanay and wanted to get away from Dejanay, and that was the main issue. Then we see a new member of the group who eventually becomes a new member of the group, but she tries to start off by being a super angry, just chick who just wants nothing to do with these kids. She will not even give Penny a chance, and Penny, being a narcissist, of course, thinks that everybody should like her, and the moment this girl doesn't show her any sort of attention, she starts to question why and thinks there's something wrong with her and thinks she can win her over. Then we fast forward and see the father of these two kids, who happens to be a glistening white male, which is very interesting to me, the fact that they would even do this. I can only imagine how they're going to utilize this character further on in the story. They're probably going to make him feel white guilt, for all I know. It's going to be really terrible. Then we fast forward and we see them, and the way he talks as if like he's really trying to be white. It's very strange. Like, most people don't talk like this, but he tries to talk with some sort of like just fragileness. I don't know how to explain it. Check it out.
Barry. Sometimes she calls me Bear, but yeah. I'm Maya and KG's father.
Hello. Sorry. Come on, Dad. Let's go.
Nice meeting everyone.
Okay, Mom.
So again, he talks with some real fragility. I really don't know what's going on with that. Then we get to the moment where Penny basically talks about how this girl doesn't like her and how everybody likes her, and she will find a way to make her like her. Of course, we have another Velma in our situations. Check this out.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna make Maya like me because everybody likes me. You'll see.
So she's gonna try to make Maya like her no matter what. She ends up setting up a classroom desk for her, puts teapots and everything, and the girl completely ignores her and walks away. Then she ends up going next to her locker, painting her locker with a welcome sign. Maya ends up switching lockers with this kid and putting him next to Penny. Then she ends up trying to play dodgeball with Maya, who keeps trying to throw the ball at her and it keeps missing. Check this out.
Hey, Maya, what do you say? You and I meet up at Winspug's after school. Chocolate lattes on me, y'all.
God, man, I gotta tell you, the absolute, I don't even know how to explain it. The ratchetness in this show is just so blatant. It's so blatant. I mean, do people really, I guess people really do talk like this. I don't really know. So we fast forward now and we see that they are trying to do a tour of the school because these are new kids. Remember, they're trying to get acclimated to the school. And I do find it pretty funny that the headmaster actually calls it the indoctrination tour. I think that's pretty funny. I know that's a normal word, but still, it's a funny thing. Check this out.
Well, Maya and KG, for your indoctrination tour here at Willie D. Ribs, you will be escorted by one of our finest, Penny Price.
So again, the whole indoctrination tour, I think, is pretty ironic and right on the nose. And then Penny ends up being the one who's going to escort them. And of course, Maya is going to have nothing to do with it and decides to want to walk away. And then Dejanay ends up seeing the kid who she thought was cute, tries to chase him down. He ends up running away. Check this out.
Sister like me.
It's not even you. She just hates all humans.
KG! I've been looking for you!
So he kind of reiterates that Maya's never going to like Penny because Maya hates everybody. Then we fast forward. She ends up getting a text from her father to meet him at the army store because he wants to dress her up in army gear. He doesn't want her looking attractive whatsoever, and they're helped by some angry, muscular-looking Russian trans woman. I really don't know what's going on here. And then he ends up trying to dress her. She doesn't like it. And then who else is in the dressing room other than Michael, who's going to modify every single one of her outfits to make her look cute, even though she's not really obviously supposed to be doing that. Check this out.
What are you doing here?
My dad tried to do the same thing to me. Now hush. We've got work to do, Miss Thing.
He's such a typical gay character. It's amazing to me how they are just incapable of writing normal gay characters. Like, every gay character has to be extremely flamboyant. This is how every single TV show does it. You realize that, right? I haven't seen a TV show recently that I can think of that a gay character wasn't overly flamboyant, other than maybe The Last of Us with Bill and Frank. Other than that, every character is super flamboyant, in your face about being gay. Gayness is their entire personality, and you can tell that whoever wrote that character actually wasn't gay themselves because they're writing them through the stereotypical eyes that they view gay people. And it's the same thing here with Michael. So every time she comes out of the changing room, she looks completely different than how she went in. Check out this scene.
Wait, where did you get those?
You gave them to me, Daddy.
Oh, forget it. Put these on. Take this. Get your butt back in. What's going on here?
So Michael keeps changing the outfit to make him sexy, and then he eventually realizes that Michael's in there, and Michael ends up transforming the dad as well. And then she realizes that she's just gonna have to deal with it and dress that way. So Michael and Penny ends up going to school the next day, and they look exactly like army kids. And then Michael shows her a skill that he has, which is basically he just takes off the clothes and transforms into his previous self. Check it out.
Hey.
How did you do that?
I stay ready. I don't get ready. Here, let me show you, Boo.
I do think it's pretty funny that all the men in this show are actually more feminine. All the gay men, I should say, are more feminine than the actual girls in this show. And you're going to see that in part 2 of this review. So make sure you guys check out that video as well if you want to see how it continues. So La Cienega eventually ends up coming back, and she looks terrible, of course. And then who else is going to fix her other than the boy? Michael's going to fix her, which I think is pretty funny for all these feminists. But again, they don't really care. As long as it's a gay person, they feel vindicated. Check it out.
Doing?
You weren't the only one the light played a trick on, Boo. This is me.
I'm Mia Castile. Okay, do it.
So her face literally ends up coming ripped off, and it really doesn't do anything to help her. But of course, we all saw that coming a mile away. And then if we fast forward, we see Maya handing out flyers regarding Save a Panda at 8 o'clock. She wants to save some panda that she feels like is being held up. And she has a conversation with Penny, and Penny asks her why doesn't she like her. She's done everything to try to make her like her, and they say this. Check it out.
I just don't like you. How? Everybody likes me. Well, except La Cienega, the Gross Sisters, my 5th period teacher.
Well, add me to that list.
But why? You don't even know me.
Oh, I know you. And your little followers.
I think it's pretty funny how every single character that's drawn in a cartoon show recently has to be some sort of narcissistic, self-absorbed kind of person. And it's no surprise that this Penny is the exact same way, just like Velma was the entire season. And Penny's the same way. From the 2 episodes that I've seen so far, she acts the same exact way. But let's see what else Maya has to say.
Than everybody, cuter than everybody, when in reality, you're just lame.
No one has ever called me lame.
Inconsequential.
Or inconsequential.
Superficial.
Superficial? Ha!
I'm going to have to agree with all of that. So, again, she ends up asking about the flyer. She says she can't go because she has the dance at 8 o'clock. Once again, proving Maya's point that she's more about her own popularity than actually trying to do anything worthwhile. La Cienega ends up being completely obsessed with the fact that she looks like a boy. And then we fast forward and we see Penny getting ready for the dance where she's dressed up as the military. But of course, she's not going to stay that way. Check it out.
Oh, that's my baby girl. You're gonna be the prettiest girl at the dance. You'll see. Simplify.
Simplify?
See? She's not embarrassed at all.
So, of course, in a kid's show, we're going to encourage kids to lie to their parents because that's just something that they've been doing lately. We all know about that. So then we get to the dance, and now we have, of course, we have Young Toddler. Yes, Young Toddler, the white rapper. I think it's pretty hilarious to have a white rapper who is culture appropriating in this TV show made for black kids. Isn't that just like pretty spot on? I think it's pretty funny in my opinion. But again, this is because they want to make a white person look terrible. So of course they're going to give them some sort of freaking rap name called Young Toddler, dress them up like a baby. I mean, there's double meanings to all of this, and I guarantee you this is one of them. Check this out.
Hating on a baby, look, Jay. Know that I'm a conquer. Tell me what's poppin'. They call me Young Tyler. I'm a little monster.
Again, I can't play the music too long because of copyright, so we're going to skip forward a little bit where Penny ends up telling Dejanay to not tell anybody that she left, but to tell everybody that she's there. Because what is she going to do? She's going to sneak off to go help Maya with the bear. Now, with that being said, we have La Cienega, who now looks good because of Michael. Michael ended up fixing her face and everything like that. And again, I find it funny that the gay male is the one who's more feminine than the actual females. Now we have Maya sitting there waiting till 8 o'clock, obviously surprised that Penny showed up. Then they infiltrate the place and they end up trying to release the panda. But when they get inside, they realize that the panda is actually perfectly happy. The panda's sitting in there playing a guitar, and then we have this entire sequence play out. Check this out.
I heard a kiss from you.
So obviously the panda is perfectly happy. There's no reason to want to break the panda out, but Maya is not having it. Maya wants to break the panda out because she feels like the panda will be happier in its own natural habitat, but the panda can actually talk, and the panda tells him, like, listen, I got food, I got a bed, I got shelter, I got everything I need, I don't want to go anywhere, of which Maya still tries to steal the panda anyway, and the panda ends up getting really pissed off, and then Penny, of all people, ends up defending the panda and telling Maya that we should just leave the panda there because the panda's obviously happy. It's got everything that it could possibly need or want. There's no reason to take it away, which Maya obviously will disagree. Check this out.
Oh, Maya, before the police get here.
No, I'm gonna rescue him. He doesn't know what he wants.
Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But he weighs 400 pounds, which means there's nothing we can do about it.
It's amazing how it's always the women saying that the other person doesn't know what they want. But then you ask them what they want to eat and they have no idea. It's just pretty funny. So anyway, we fast forward and obviously they have a little bit of a scuffle verbally where they disagree. And then Penny ends up agreeing with everything that Maya said about her previously. Check this out.
Because I was willing to do anything to be your friend. I don't know if seeing the light the other night confused me, but as of now, I am officially no longer confused. You're the superficial one, not to mention pushy, delusional, and hard-headed.
So yeah, she ends up telling Maya off and makes Maya realize that what she's trying to do is not, you know, the way to go, and ends up actually making Maya like Penny slightly better because Penny's the only one that actually ever stood up to her. Her father ends up finding the military clothes in front of the house when he ends up going to the dance and confronting Penny about the clothes. Before he does, this happens. Check it out.
So who got KG? They did. Guess he's not into girls, huh?
So the boys are standing on one side and the girls are standing on the other, and that's when the father walks in and confronts Penny about the clothes. Check it out.
You want to explain this to me, young lady?
Oh, thanks, Dad. I have been looking all over for these. You know this camouflage stuff really works. It just blends right in.
Nah.
So he ends up yelling at her, of which he realizes that the boys are just standing across the side and calls them suckers and losers because they won't dance with the girls, and he thinks that's pretty weird because back in his day they would have danced with the girls instead of playing video games in a corner all by themselves. Then at this point, all the girls start forcing the boys to dance with them and start grabbing them one by one. Even Michael, of course, grabs one of the straight boys, assumingly the straight boys. I don't really know if the kid is straight, but it looks like he is. And then Penny wants to ask him, okay, for a dance, which the father says, no, absolutely not. Then Penny ends up dragging her dad over to the corner, yelling at him, telling him to sit, and talks to him about the fact that she's going to be growing up. She's a girl now. She's a woman, apparently, or at least she's becoming one. That's literally her words. So this, like, middle-aged girl thinks that she's a woman and that her dad needs to calm down in protecting her. I think it's honestly something that they definitely want to encourage kids to do as this whole, you know, political landscape starts to change ever so much. But check this out.
Want to go to high school, go to college, get a job, get married, have children?
Hold on. Slow down, baby girl.
Listen to me, Daddy. You never listen.
Yeah, I'm glad they put that little asterisk there because if they would have had this middle-aged girl say that she's a woman, I would be really sus about it. So anyway, that's basically it, guys. The dance ends up ending, and he's perfectly fine all of a sudden with her dancing with this boy. She goes and grabs the boy. They have a little bit of a dance, and the episode ends from there. So again, this episode is not that woke at all. It has some tendencies, for sure. It definitely has some tendencies, but I promise you, it's going to ramp up like crazy. They're only being soft in the first episode for obvious reasons, because they want to try to attract as many people as possible into the series before they slap you with their preaching. So with that being said, I'm going to give episode 1 for the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, a solid 3 out of 10. I think 3 out of 10 is a fair score for this TV show. Number 1, the animation for me, I don't like this kind of animation. I've said it multiple times. It's not for me, but I can understand how it could be attractive to children, and this is what this show is marketed towards, even though it has adult themes in it that should definitely not be in this show. It gets a couple of points simply because of that. I know it's going to be very attractive to kids. It's very colorful. It's very nice to look at in that avenue, but for me, it's not that kind of animation. The voice acting is very good, in my opinion, for this TV show. Every single voice that's played for every character definitely fits the character. I just wish they weren't so stereotypical or ratchet for that matter. But the storyline as a whole is pretty boring so far. Of course, it's going to be boring. It's a kids TV show. And also, the way they explain the time jump, I don't really like it as of right now. I feel like it's pretty lazy. It's kind of like, oh, they just went to sleep and woke up so much older. It's just a weird way to explain a recreation or a sequel for a TV show. I feel like you could have just explained it a little bit better, took a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes explaining it better, and then that's basically it. You could have moved on with your life. But the whole, like, just magical, oh, we woke up and we're older again, it just seems a little weird to me. But again, it's a kids TV show. I'm not really into it. I'm struggling to get through it, to be honest with you. But I do think it's going to be a lot more fun to dunk on once the wokeness starts really kicking in, which it does in the second episode. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.